welcome to 843 TV, where communities come to speak. I'm Wendy Pollitzer, sitting in for Carrie Smoot, and with me today as my co-host is Miss Laura McAlhaney. Laura is sitting in for Michael Burgess. Thank you for joining us today, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
Today we are with our Beaufort panel, and we have with us Joe Lee, who is sitting to my right. Joe is with the town of Port Royal. Thanks for coming, Joe.
Thank you.
And we have Billy O'Neill. Billy is with the Technical College of the Low Country. He is the program coordinator for continuing education. Thanks for joining us today, Billy.
Thank you.
And in center, we have Miss Courtney Worrell with 303 Associates, and Courtney has invited us today to the Beaufort Inn, which is where we're sitting right now. We're on the balcony of the beautiful Beaufort Inn in downtown Beaufort. Courtney, can you tell us a little bit more about the Beaufort Inn?
Sure, I'd be happy to. In addition to the historic inn itself, which is where we're sitting, the inn is surrounded by numerous historic buildings and cottages, and they're all connected by private gardens and intimate courtyards. The inn is home to numerous luxurious suites and guest rooms. Each are hallmarked by high ceilings, heart pine floors, and luxurious baths.
Yeah.
They're decorated in a classic, comfortable Southern style, but they each have modern amenities, so you can't get too far disconnected if you don't want to be. The inn also is home to a spa, so if you're not relaxing enough while you're on vacation, you can relax a little more. They'd be happy to help you out there. One of my favorite things about the Beaufort Inn, though, is that it's within easy walking distance, a half block or less, to all of the wonderful amenities that downtown has to offer. Our galleries and our shops, restaurants and so forth, not to mention Waterfront Park and the downtown marina. It's all right here at hand. Also, the inn, I've got to give a lot of credit to the inn's management and staff. They've got a strong commitment to making sure that all of the guests have a superior lodging experience. They've recently been awarded TripAdvisor's Certificate of Excellence. In the past, they've received Condé Nast's Gold Award, been mentioned numerous times in Southern Living, and it's a lodging of choice for celebrities and dignitaries when they're in town. So it's a great place to stay.
That's great. It's a beautiful building.
Tell me a little, the building is so interesting. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of the building before it was an inn, or how long has it been an inn?
Yeah, this building itself was built in 1897 by a congressman from other parts of South Carolina. And like many homes in Beaufort, he built it as a summer retreat to escape the heat of the upstate or the mid-state. He was from Columbia, actually. So that was the original home itself, and as you can tell from y'all looking around, it's the classic Victorian style.
Yeah.
It's surrounded by porches, both on the front, the side, and the rear, and they were designed to catch those sea breezes those people from the other parts of the state were so desiring in the heat of the summer. Other parts of the inn, there's the Female Benevolent Society, which is on Scott Street. That was built by the Female Benevolent Society, for whom it's named. Their mission was to help destitute children by providing for them and educating them. They built that cottage. They built it in 1895. They sold it in the mid-1980s. They are still using the proceeds of that sale to further their mission today.
How wonderful.
So that is really an amazing and neat part.
Great.
That same building was also used by the Clover Club as Beaufort's first lending library, which then turned into the public library, which is now across the street from the same building. Right next to that building is a small one-room building that was used as a doctor's office with an outside waiting room. Behind that building is the Edmund Rhett Law Office, where I think we discussed last time he drafted the Articles of Secession. He and his brother Robert Barnwell Rhett were fire eaters. They like to talk about secession as early as 1844.
Wow.
We recently purchased the Harold Shepard Cottage. He was a Baptist preacher and was active during the Great Awakening, converting people to Christianity during that time frame. So lots of history, like Beaufort, lots of history all around here. I invite you to come check it out for yourself.
It's neat.
Well, we're real happy to be here, and it's a great location, and it's sitting right in the middle of the historic district in Beaufort. Tell us a little bit more about what makes downtown Beaufort so special.
When people think of downtown Beaufort, the first thing they usually think of is all of its history, and gosh knows it's full of history, not to mention architectural treasures. But it's important to note that it's not a place that's frozen in time. It's anything but that. It is living, breathing history. It is very real, very authentic. I mean, obviously, as we mentioned briefly, you can walk to historic places, museums, beautiful, multiple galleries, shops, locally owned, unique shops, wonderful, world-class restaurants, in my opinions. But more than that, there is an overwhelming sense of community among the people. The shop owners speak to one another, and locals, I mean, Laura, you're a local shop owner, but with that same thing, they welcome visitors with the same sense of community and welcoming, and that's something that can't be replicated.
It's really special.
How has the Beaufort Inn been affected by the economic downturn, or has it?
Well, I think everybody's definitely been affected by the economic downturn, but fortunately the Beaufort Inn in the past year has welcomed more visitors than they did the previous year. And I think that's been through some promotions they've run, and then the Beaufort Inn also offers a wealth of different packages, such as the romance package or the spa package. They also partner with Bay Street Outfitters and Orvis to offer a redfish package. So any creative combination thereof, they offer these packages that are for people looking for a reason to get away, and also it helps with the budget conscious. So it gives people a good opportunity to get away. Even though we're finding that people may not be traveling internationally or flying as much, Beaufort is a great drive market. It's also a great boat market. Let's not forget that the marina is less than a couple blocks away. So it's showing us that people still find Beaufort a desirable destination, and they're still wanting to come here.
It sounds like the inn has become a destination point in and of itself.
We definitely like to think so.
And that seems partly because of the weddings and how beautiful the landscape is here. And recently, I know that there's been the Shed in Port Royal. You've partnered with the town of Port Royal, and you're going to be doing events there. Talk a little bit about some of the locations that you have for your special events.
Sure. We have Beaufort Weddings and Events, which markets events not only at the Beaufort Inn, but other locations throughout town. And we were delighted to be able to have the opportunity to partner with the town of Port Royal to market the Shed. The town of Port Royal made a very important, and in my opinion, a wise decision when they decided to purchase the Shed. To help bring energy and vibrancy to that part of Paris Avenue. Much like we've talked about downtown Beaufort and Bay Street being the lifeblood of that community, Paris Avenue is the lifeblood of Port Royal. The Shed is a structure that reflects Port Royal's maritime past, and if you just take a step out of the Shed's porches and look out into that water, you can see why people have been attracted to the town of Port Royal for over 450 years. It's a no-brainer. So we are very excited to be partnering with them to help promote and market events to bring more energy and excitement and activity to the town of Port Royal. They've recently unveiled new plans, and we'll work together as budget permits, but it's recently been renovated in the rear, so we look forward to continuing that activity.
Wonderful.
That's very exciting. That's real exciting, Courtney. Well, thank you again for inviting us here to the beautiful Beaufort Inn. We absolutely love it here, and when we come back, we'll be talking more about Port Royal with Jolie when we return to 843 TV, where communities come to speak.